So we are in Yevamot, 6th chapter, 5th Mishnah. Kohen idiot, a simple Kohen. The word idiot comes from the Hebrew. Idiot, it doesn't mean idiot, it means simple. And it transferred into idiot. Kohen idiot, lo yisa ayalonit. He shouldn't marry ayalonit. What's an ayalonit? Ayalonit is a woman who cannot have children. Now you would say, how would you know? It's before the fact. How would you know if she can have children or not? So there's some women don't hit puberty. So they're women. They become the age of 19, 20, 18, and they don't have puberty. So because they don't have puberty, you know that she cannot have children. Yeah, doesn't get a cycle.
What is ראויה?
אישה שאינה ראויה ללדת, she cannot. יכולה, ראויה. She's not befitting to give a child. Yeah, she cannot give a child. אלא, when is he allowed to marry one like that? אם כן, יש לו אישה ובנים. He has a wife and children. If he has another wife and other children, then he can marry her. But if he doesn't have a wife and a children, he cannot marry. It looks like in Israel, he's allowed to marry her. The question is, what's going on over here? How can you marry her? So it says, as a first wife. He still will have the mitzvah to marry a second wife to have children with. Yeah, but a Kohen is not allowed to marry her as a first wife. That's what it looks like. That's the difference. Or Isha, or either that, or he has another woman, שיכול לקיים מצוות פריה ורבייה, that he is able to do the commandment of be fruitful and multiply. Or banim, or this is his first wife died, he doesn't have a wife, but he has children already. So then he's allowed to marry her. Or banim שכבר קיים את המצווה, or he has children that he already did the commandment. בגמרא אמרו, I was wrong. בגמרא אמרו, in the Gemaras, they said, שהוא הדין לישראל. It's the same thing for a Jew, for a regular Jew, not just a Kohen. Why does it specify a Kohen? שלא ישאנה מאותו טעם. That he's not going to be able to marry her from that same reason. כדי שלא ייבטל ממצוות פריה ורבייה. That he's not going to marry, do the mitzvah of be fruitful and multiply. So the question is, so why does the Mishnah go out of the way and says Kohen? If it means everybody, it should say a Jew. It should say Israel. ולא נקט התנא כהן. So the reason why the Mishnah says specifically Kohen, אלא משום רבי יהודה חולק ומחמיר בכהן יותר מבישראל. We're going to see that Rabbi Yehuda, later on in the Mishnah, is going to disagree. And he's going to say there's a difference between a Kohen and Israel. So actually over here it means also in Israel, not only a Kohen. But because later on in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda says Kohen is even stricter in some other things. So over here he brings a Kohen. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda אומר, Rabbi Yehuda says, אף על פי שיש לו אישה, Rabbi Yehuda is going to be strict by a Kohen, only by a Kohen, even though he has a woman, ובנים and children, לא יישא אילונית. He is not allowed to marry an אילונית, a woman who cannot give children. Why? שהיא זונה האמורה בתורה, because an אילונית is a forbidden relationship that says in the Torah. He claims in the unit, we have connotation when we hear the word zona. We had connotation of something. Zona is a status. Zona is, don't look at it as a harlot. That's not what it means. It means that somebody who had, like I said many times.
Without marriage.
No, that's not what it is. Yeah. I can give, no, that doesn't make you zona. Yeah, I give you an example. So a woman who slept with the entire city, every Jewish man in the city, she's not a zona. She's not a zona because as long as she didn't have a forbidden relationship, that doesn't make her. But if she slept with one non-Jew, that makes her a zona.
The non-Jew.
Yeah, the non-Jew. Or she slept with her brother, or she slept with her father, or she slept with the Yavam. Just the Zona is a status of forbidden relationship.
But if she's not married, is a prohibited relationship?
Yes, it is a prohibited relationship, but it doesn't make her a Zona. she's still allowed to marry a Kohen.
So what make it prohibited? Only Gilui Arayot?
And for example, Yevama, if she slept with the Yevama before, all kind of things like this. Yeah, things that the Torah said not to.
If she just go with a married man, she's not.
She can go with the
It's a
entire town.
relationship.
It's a forbidden relationship, but
it's
she's
not
allowed to marry a Kohen afterwards. So this is a zona. רבי יהודה אומר, אף על פי שיש לו אישה ובנים לסנדל, שהיא זונה אמורה בתורה. How did you get a zona? Where do you get a zona over here? That's the question. אישה זונה וחללה לא ייקחו. So it says, a woman, a zona and חללה, the Kohen is not allowed to take. So it says, שהואיל ואינה ראויה לילד. Since this woman is not going to give a child, נמצא לוקח אותה לכתחילה לשם זנות. He says, why are you having her? Why are you marrying her? You're not marrying her to do the mitzvah. You remember the Tanya that we're doing it? You're not doing it.
To do mitzvah, but for himself.
Yeah, that's right. You're doing it just for your base desires. You're not marrying because God said so. Yeah, the only reason to marry a woman is to have children. Halala is when she cannot marry a Kohen because, for example, a Kohen married a Grusha. So the child from a Kohen and a Grusha, if it's a woman, is a halala, she may not come.
She can go marry.
That's right. ועובר עליו אישה זונה לא ייקחו. And he's going on a transgress, אישה זונה לא ייקחו. Very strict. חכמים אומרים, חכמים are not, probably are not going to agree with him. חכמים אומרים, אין זונה אמורה בתורה שהיא אסורה לכהן. It says the only zona that says in the Torah that is prohibited לכהן, אלא גיורת. It's only a convert. When it says zona, what is prohibited to Kohen is a convert. לפי שהגויים שטופי זימה הם, because the other nations were only running after physical pleasures, ומן הסתם קודם שנתגיירה נבהלה לגוי. Even if you don't know for sure, but you assume that before she became a convert, she was with another non-Jew, and that relationship with a non-Jew makes her into a zona. ומשוחררת, or a משוחררת, which means she was a maid servant, או שפחה כנענית, she was a Canaanite maid servant, שנשתחררה, that the master freed her, שמן הסתם נבעלה לעבד, that we assume that one of the servants, other servants been with her. Why would we assume that? Because that's the way the farmer, the owner makes kids. Because he owns the kids, just like cattle. Yeah, ושנבעלה בעילת זנות. Or, a zona is anybody that had a relationship with בעילת זנות, with somebody she's not allowed to. He's going to explain. אישה שנבעלה מאדם שהיא אסורה להינשא לו. Any man, she's not, if you just, a woman.
Married two women.
That's right. Yeah. And so it's, it doesn't matter. Even today, that way you can. Even today you can. Yeah. So if she's not allowed to marry him from the Torah, then it is a zona. So who you're not allowed to marry from the Torah? Yeah. And so yeah, exactly. It's a גילוי עריות. בין איסור חייבי כריתות, it doesn't matter if it is a prohibition that you get a karet, ומיתת בית דין, whether it is a death penalty, בין באיסור חייבי לוין, whether it is prohibition is a lav, ועשה השווים בכל ואינם מיוחדים לכהן, whether it is for even in Israel a relationship that is prohibited, כגון גר, עמוני ומואבי, מצרי ואדומי, that it says you're not allowed to take them, הדור שלישי, all these nations, you're not allowed to marry them until 3 generations, or natinu mamzer, or netinim. Netinim, remember, these are the guys who they tricked Yoshua, and Yoshua told them, you guys are going to be our slaves, but you're not going to be accepted into the Jewish nation. Mamzer, we all know what it is. Mamzer is a relationship that is prohibited from the Torah. ויש סוברים, there are those who hold, שאין זונה הפסולה לכהונה, אלא הנבעלת מחייבי כריתות. Some said that only if it's a kares punishment, only then she's a zona. If it's not a kares punishment, then she's not a zona, even though the Torah says not to do it. So for example, if it's not a kares punishment, for example, brother, maybe it doesn't say kares punishment, I don't know, yeah? Then that relationship doesn't make it a zona. ומיתת בית דין, so it's either a kares or a death penalty. Why? מפני שאין קידושים תופסים בהם. Because there's no kiddushim there. In other words, it's not a marriage. You cannot, it's like saying, it's a person saying, I married a dog. It says, you didn't marry a dog because you can't marry a dog. There's no kiddushin that helped in marrying a dog. There's no kiddushin in marrying, you cannot marry your father, for example, or whatever. There's another relationship, not sure. וכן מנוכרי ומעבד. And so it is from a non-Jew or from a slave. שאין בהם קידושים. You cannot marry a non-Jew, you cannot marry a slave. If you did the marriage ceremony, you can't. The marriage ceremony is a fake. There's no catch. It doesn't catch.
Yeah, she's going in with a goy, she's a zona, because she can't. No?
Yeah.
That's what it looked to me for me.
Yeah. אבל הנבעלת בחייבי להבין ועשה, אינה נקראת זונה. But the people that קידושים do catch in her, that there is a kiddushin, just the Torah tell you not to do it. In potential, yeah. מפני שקידושים תופסים בהם, because the kiddushin grab into it. For example, a yabam, or whatever, the brother of the yabam, or whatever, I don't know what the case is, yeah. ומותרת לכהונה. And then she'll be permitted to the kahuna. Okay.